The New York Mets going into the second half of the season have been searching for another big-time power bat to add to the middle of their lineup to help out guys like Fransisco Lindor, Jeff McNeil, and of course Pete Alonso. Well, the New York Mets might have just been able to strike some gold as they have acquired first baseman / DH Daniel Vogelbach from the Pittsburgh Pirates, and in return, the New York Mets will be sending minor league pitcher Colin Holderman, who's in AA right now, back to the Pittsburgh Pirates. So it's a straight up 1-for-1 swap. Daniel Vogelbach this year is batting at Daniel Vogelbach is batting .228 when he scored 29 runs. He's hit 12 home runs and 34 RBIs with 0 stolen bases. He has 237 at-bats. He has 54 hits with an on-base percentage of .338, slugging percentage of .430, an OPS of .769 with an OPS plus of .117. And for his career, Daniel Vogelbach he's had 1,156 at-bats with 246 hits, 61 home runs, 213 RBIs. So this guy seems like a very much an all-or-nothing hitter, if anything. He has 157 runs for his career, 165 RBIs with no stolen bases, an on-base percentage of .336. So his on-base percentage in this year alone is higher than his career average. His slugging percentage overall for his career is .408. He has an OPS of .745 and an OPS plus of .104. So Vogelbach is going to be a guy that's going to be inserted into the middle of that lineup to at times maybe spell Pete Alonso at first base, but he's pretty much going to be the primary DH going forward. And this probably spells the end of his Mets tenure in terms of Dominic Smith and possibly J.D. Davis going forward with the New York Mets, because now that you have Daniel Vogelbach there in the middle of that lineup as your DH going forward, it's probably going to make Dominic Smith a prime player to be traded by the New York Mets this season, and maybe even a guy like J.D. Davis could be on the move as well. And in terms of the return for the Pittsburgh Pirates, Colin Holderman in AA this year, he's pitching to a 2.04 ERA in the minor leagues with a 4-0 record with a WAR of .5. He's been pitching in 15 games with no games saved and no saves overall. He has pitched in 17.2 innings with 18 strikeouts and a 1.019 WHIP. So this is a guy that's pretty much got a solid ERA. He's got decent strikeout numbers, nothing to really write home about. He's probably more about his movement when it comes to his pitches. So that's just the return that the Pittsburgh Pirates are going to get. He's 26 years old as well. So right now, Daniel Vogelbach has been acquired by the New York Mets as their new designated hitter going forward to the rest of the season. And we don't even know if the New York Mets are going to be done with making moves going for the rest of the season, as there's a possibility they can make a couple of other splashes in the bullpen, or maybe they even feel like they can add some more bats to the rest of this lineup to make sure that they don't have any type of collapse with this lineup going forward, as well as they're going to make sure that they can fend off the Atlanta Braves and have more firepower when they get towards the end of the season, and of course when it comes to the playoffs. The New York Mets are going to be able to upgrade this roster going forward, as Stevie Cohen has not had an issue with paying as much money as it is possible and getting the type of players that are going to help put the New York Mets over the top and be a possible World Series contender as well as a World Series champion. So that's just the news I want to break right now. The New York Mets have acquired Pittsburgh Pirates first baseman / DH Daniel Vogelbach in exchange for right-hand pitcher in the minor leagues reliever Colin Holderman from the New York Mets. So it's a straight-up 1-for-1 swap. Daniel Vogelbach for Colin Holderman, and we're going to have to see if there's going to be any more moves for the New York Mets. We're going to have to see how Vogelbach is going to do as the DH going forward, what this might mean for the futures of Dominic Smith, as well as what's the future of J.D. Davis and some of the other New York Mets that might be on the fringe of being traded by the New York Mets before the August 2nd trade deadline for the Mets. So if you liked the video, please hit the like button below. Subscribe if you haven't already to NYG Jeffy 3285 for more breaking news updates and chatter surrounding the New York Mets, New York Giants, WWE Wrestling, Brooklyn Nets, as well as food for thought. Leave a comment below on how you feel about the New York Mets acquiring power-hitting DH / first baseman Daniel Vogelbach. If you think it's a good move, a bad move, and what other types of moves you hope the New York Mets make before the August 2nd trade deadline. And turn on the bell for notifications on the next short or video that's going to be dropping surrounding the New York Mets. So I hope everybody enjoys the rest of your Friday. I hope everybody stays cool. Drink a lot of fluids like I mentioned before. Make sure you guys stay hydrated. and have a great rest of your weekend. And let's go, New York Mets.